I ain't trying to bother. You're moving me in all the right ways, waiting for the signal. I wanna go down, and watch it fall down, down. You give me the green light, speeding like there ain't no stop sign. My eyes set on the prize, yeah. I wanna go down, I wanna go down. But damn, it feels good when you jump on it. Scars on my chest like you own it. You can have my last name if you want it, if you want it, if you want it. Yeah, girl, we don't even have to stop it. Take you higher than a real rocket. You can have my last name if you want it, if you want it, if you want it. Yeah, your body's out in motion, like a Mona Lisa come to life. Pin you on my wall and pull you back down. Watch you slide down and let me drink you in. Oh, selfish lovers. But damn, it feels good when you jump on it. Scars on my chest like you own it. You can have my last name if you want it, if you want it, if you want it. Yeah, girl, we don't even have to stop it. Take you higher than a real rocket.
All right, everyone, welcome to TRM. I am your humble host, CJ. We're going to be getting started here in 60 seconds. Welcome, everyone.
Damn, it feels good. Oh, so good, so good. So but damn, it feels good when you jump on it. Scars on my chest like you own it. Good when you jump on it. Scars on my chest like you own it.
Way to talk about this topic. Great to see everyone here. Merry Christmas to everyone who is celebrating. Merry Christmas to you wherever you are. Hopefully you guys are going to be, I know depending on where you are in the world, you might get into the Christmas day before we do here in the States. And so Merry Christmas to you and your families. And hopefully you guys have a great time. Please make sure you're hitting the like button as you're coming in. The topic I want to talk about today is one that's really weighed on my spirit. And it is normally it's not the type of things that I talk about on my platform, but I wanted to talk about this. And I wanted to, because it's important for us to talk about this. And please hit the like button as you're coming in. We're gonna have a good conversation today. So the first topic that I want to talk about today is the idea that Afrobeat now has now become a major, the subject of major attack. And I want to discuss the many ways, or the one way I should say, that Afrobeats, our music, is being attacked today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to contrast that with what we've seen with other black music genres. For example, hip hop, reggae, and now we're seeing this with Nigeria's music, Afrobeats. And so I thought it's a good way for me to really sound the alarm for those of you who watch me, right? That way you're aware of these things, because if you've been watching me long enough, you'll know that I talk about, the agenda behind wanting to attack our music on every front. If you've been watching me long enough, you know that I've really focused on this. Things that we saw with hip hop, things that plagued hip hop, now being used as a way to plague our music. So So this is more like a sounding board. So we'll talk about that. And then I want to talk about another topic that I think is equally more important for us to really pay attention to. I don't know how much of we're going to talk about this movie, Leave the World Behind. Now, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie and you want to watch this movie, log off right now. Okay? Log off, don't watch this live, go do something else, because I'm going to be going over some things in the movie that if you want to watch the movie, I recommend you go watch the movie. So, spoiler alert, if you want to watch this movie, if you're the type of person that really doesn't want to know much about a movie until you watch it and all of that, just log off right now and go watch it and then watch this live afterwards. So we'll talk about that. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about Afrobeats right now. Let's talk about what's going on. So Teen Vogue, which is Vogue magazine, it's a huge publication here in the United States. I think most people all over the world know about it. Recently published something that I thought was a fascinating read. If you go Google it up. And the title is Afrobeats Music Entering Its Illuminati Era. And it's a fascinating read. I'm not going to read it, but I'm going to give you the brunt of what was said in the article, because I want to get right into this. I don't want to spend my time reading the article. So basically, it goes into a couple of music or songs that have been produced by a few Afrobeat artists. They mentioned, Don Jazzy, Marvin Records. They talked about Rema. They talked about a couple of other artists who have been very artistic in their music, and talked about the rumors that are going out there in terms of, the displays of certain relics, certain type of props. And so this article is asking a question, but I will tell you, it's not just asking a question. It's taking it's putting a narrative out there. And the narrative is, are we now seeing the era of Illuminati? Now, the reason why this is interesting is because when you look at hip hop, one of the things that plagued hip hop music was the fact that a lot of people believe that a lot of the artists were worshiping the devil. Now, I don't know about if that is true or not. I can't definitively say that that is not the case. I don't know. I don't worship the devil, so I don't know anything about worshiping the devil. But I will tell you that was one of the key things that plagued hip hop in terms of that narrative that is put out there. Now, is it true that there's some artists that could have been dabbling into that? Yeah, there's nothing is impossible. Nothing is unlikely. I mean, we've seen artists come out on the red carpet and do bizarre things. Now, here's what I know about creatives. Again, I can't speak to something I don't know about. I can't say yay, nay, or whatever to whatever happened in hip hop. But I see the same handwriting on the wall in terms of how hip hop was dealt with. You guys know I've talked about, some of the moves that I've seen with how people labeled hip hop, what plagued it. Now, not to cut hip hop any slack, hip hop also self-injured itself, because a lot of the rappers, no one put the gun in their head to do the type of violence that we've seen with hip hop. No one put a gun in their head. The type of crazy stuff we've seen with that, no one put a gun in their head, right? So not cutting hip hop any slack on that, or taking the responsibility away from those artists who have really plagued and destroyed their community with violence, killings, and all that trash we see with hip hop, especially rap, I should say. But nonetheless, we know that the media played a huge role in really killing that music genre. We know this. This is not a conspiracy theory. We know this. And so what I try to do with my platform is point out the patterns, with our music, how, just show the patterns of things that are going on, and try to really show the parallel lines within those the patterns, with hip hop and Afrobeat. Because history repeats itself, and they say that those who don't understand their history are doomed to repeat it. And now we're seeing the injection of this whole idea of witchcraft, the devil worshiping, Illuminati, cults, things that we've seen with that we saw with hip hop, now being injected into Afrobeat. And what's bothering me about this is that this is early on. Afrobeat is still in its infancy stage. This is early on. We're not even 10 years into this. When I mean 10 years into, I'm talking about the popularity of Afrobeat. This is 2010. Okay, we're a little over 10 years, I should say. A little over 10 years, but we're not even 15 years, 20 years into this. And we're seeing this type of things going on. So if you read this article, you'll go into a couple of songs that they are pointing to. Don Jazzy's song, Dorobuchi, is one of those songs that they point to in terms of that. They talk about Rema. Everyone got all crazy with Rema when Rema came out on stage during his O2 Arena performance a couple of months ago. People got outraged. And so a couple of fans pointed to that as witchcraft when Rema came out on stage wearing the mask of Queen Idia. So you have that. You have Omole, things with him in terms of when he was seen bowing down to a masquerade or something like that. So these are things that people are looking at and they say, okay, is Afrobeat not entering into that? Now, let me tell you something. Let me help you understand this. And I want you to understand why I'm bringing this up. Again, without speaking definitively for every artist out there, or because I don't know what they do in their personal life. But what I do know is that artists and creatives are going to push the boundaries. They're going to be artistic. They're going to be creative in their art. They're going to be creative in their culture. They're going to keep you and get you talking about them. They're going to do things that is going to strike a chord or start a conversation. And if you're not mature, if you're not grown, and if you're not evolved in your thinking, you're going to misread it as idol worshiping. You're going to misread that as witchcraft. You're going to misread it as worshiping the devil. Okay. Because these things were used with hip hop. I mean, people had conspiracy theories about certain artists and all of that. Oh my God, this art. And there's no proof about this. And I think that the danger with that is that what that does is it paints a negative stereotype, especially with black music, because you don't see this type of talk against any other music genre. I mean, when was the last time you saw someone from the pop culture or someone from the Latin community or Latin music? Name anyone. Salsa, merengue, bachata, whatever it is, whatever Latin music. When was the last time you saw this publication with their music being associated with Illuminati? You don't hear those conversations. Or every other race, or you don't hear this. But you tend to hear it, and you know who drives this? They put the buzz out there, and they get us to push that. Now, I can almost guarantee you that the reason why this is easy to sell to Nigerians is because, of course, Nigerians and a lot of Africans have a lot of deities. Who doesn't? I mean, you'll find culture anywhere outside of the West. There's a belief and a cultural belief that these people have. Everywhere you go to Asia, same thing. China, India, same thing. Go to Central America, same thing. You go to Africa, same thing. They all have there's a belief practice before the whole world was forced into one system of religion. And what has happened historically is people have been made to not believe and fear their ancestral storyline. You get what I mean? And a lot of us, in Africa, fear our traditions and our culture and our story. And so it's easy for someone to put on a boogie mask and say, hey, this is linked to the devil, because you have no understanding about it. And I think that is a dangerous thing, because what that causes is a type of disconnect and violence that we tend to see with other music genres. So, at the risk of not sounding like a broken record, my thing for you would be, when you see your artists, when we see our artistic artists, Afrobeat artists displaying a certain type of artistic behavior on stage, see it for what it is. It is artistic. There's nothing demonic about it. There's no worshiping of the devil, unless you know the person for a fact that they worship. It's not, because because I guarantee you, I can come on my platform right now and put on a shirt that says something that you might, without you understanding what it is, you're gonna read it off as is. And so lack of understanding usually makes people fear what they don't understand. And there's a part of the Bible that says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." And so if you don't have an understanding for something, you read it as something totally different than someone who has a pure understanding of it. You read it as a boogeyman. You see it as someone, oh my God, you read that. I remember for a long time I used to have a dream about snakes, because I used to have a phobia of snakes. I still do for most part. I still do. But I hate snakes. I don't do, if there's any animal out there that I detest, it's snakes. I don't do it. I tend to really even stay away from people that put that around their necks and all that. It's not my thing. But I remember about 10, 15 years ago, it was bad. Like, I truly had a phobia, anxiety. The thought of it really plagued my mind. I really hated it. Now, there's no history. I've never encountered a snake. I've never been bitten by one. There's nothing like that in my family. There's none of that. But I just had that fear. And I remembered for a long time, in my mid-20s, all the way to my early 30s, like 32, I would say. So my mid 25, 26, all the way to 32. I would have every other night dreams about snakes. Even being pursued by one, being wrapped in one, being attacked by one. It was always in my dreams. Always. Always. And then it was just one of those things that bothered me. But you know what happened? Somewhere around when I turned 32, 33. I don't know what it is I was listening to or someone. And I think I heard it from someone that says that your fear, when you're running, sometimes we are running from our own shadows. And the thing that we fear the most is manifested. So when you're afraid of something, the same thing with the power of suggestion and also the power of manifestation. I don't know if I believe in power of manifestation. So you speak something out into the atmosphere, you speak something in existence, it happens. It's essentially how I was able to achieve things in my life. It's like I speak it, because when you speak it, something with the spiritual realm, when you say something out, your mind believes it. You tend to kind of follow through with it. So something about that, so I tend to kind of speak things into existence. So I understand that part. It's essentially the same thing. When you are afraid of something, your mind, it plagues your mind. You tend to take it with you. So for me, it was my fear of snakes that caused me. I was creating that in my dreams. I was creating that because I feared it so much that I created storylines. I created scenarios. I created things around that plagued me all the time. It wasn't until I heard someone, I can't remember, but it happened around my 32nd, 33rd birthday, or went around that. And I told myself, I'm never going to be afraid of snakes again. Never. I just totally never. And I've never had those dreams. I've literally gone to bed. I can tell you that the last time I had a snake dream, I don't know. Watch now that I've said it, man, I'm like, I might get one tonight. But the point I'm making here is when you're afraid of something, when you don't have a good understanding about it, you tend to make a boogeyman out of it. And if you come from a cultural background where there's a meaning about everything, there's a superstition on everything, that's even going to plague your mind more because, if some of us grew on a cultural belief and a cultural superstition. I know a few ones I don't know if you guys know this. I know with me, there's cultural beliefs that we have. One of which is if your eyelid, the right one, not the left one though, if your eyelid starts to blinker, that means something great is going to happen for you. I don't know if you guys have heard that one. Right? And there's all these superstitions that we all grew up with. But they're not evil superstition. It's just the way our ancestors, that's how they created a belief that helped them govern themselves. Even a lot of the things that we shy off in terms of our old traditional practices that many of us might look back and say, oh, that's a devil worship. No, they're not. I know there are certain practices in the Yoruba land where they mark themselves and they mark their faces. And if you don't understand that practice, you'll call it witchcraft. But the point of that is that the reason why they mark themselves is there's a belief behind it, which is essentially they're trying to ward off spirits. I think that's what it is. Ward off spirits. And in each tribe, there's a way they want to identify their own children. So if they want to identify their own children from the other neighbor, this was their belief, to be able to identify their own kids. So there's nothing witchcraft about it. But if you don't understand it, you would build some kind of boogeyman around it. And then the Igbos have something, and the Hausas have, they all have a certain tribe tradition. Now the point I'm making about this, if you haven't already got this, is that if you don't understand something, you will create a monster with it. So with Afrobeat artists, with our musicians, with their creativity, their ability to really kind of push the boundaries. When Rema came out on stage, and you have people with no understanding. Now I can't really fault them because look at me. It took me 30-something all the way to my 30s, mid-30s, to understand some things that I used to be afraid of back in when in my 20s. So I wouldn't really blame people who don't have a full understanding of it yet. And they might read something differently. I wouldn't really blame people because we all evolve, we all grow, experiences in life, your travels exposes you to certain things. You get what I mean? And so you might not see things the way someone else might see it. If you live in a certain part of geographical location, you might have a certain belief in certain things. So our beliefs and our idea and our ideology are shaped based on our experiences in life, based on certain factors that we're exposed to. You get what I mean? And if you're not exposed, you might see things as such when they really aren't. And so I am basically appealing to you all that when you're seeing your artist become edgy, don't read it off as Illuminati. That's what they did with hip hop, and they had no understanding. And so the West was able to demonize black music to black people, that the artists were practicing this. No, they're not. If I really want to get you guys talking tomorrow, I'm going to come with a shirt that says, I love the devil. Do you get what I'm saying? You're going to see like, yo, CJ is... Now, guess what I want to do? I might want you to talk about me, and I want you to make video contents about me, and I might want you to just go ahead and I want to spook the algorithm. Maybe that's my end game here, because I know that most of you believe that you would read that off differently. And so that's the strategy I could use. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's going to be like, oh, CJ believes in the devil. CJ worships the devil. And I don't believe in the devil, worship the devil. But I might get you talking. So the point I'm making is that you have to evolve in your thinking. You have to evolve in your mind. You have to see artists for who they really are. They are artists. They are creatives. They're there to entertain you. I mean, you enjoy the entertainment on stage when they come up with certain things. That's what their job is. They are there to keep you tuned to them. They're not there to make you think that they're the devil. Because I would imagine if anyone is worshiping the devil, why would they want to tell you they're worshiping the devil? I mean, think about it for a second. I mean, if they really are worshiping the devil, why would they want you to know that? That's not something people will go and broadcast all over the world. Because that's a money killer right there. You know, that's something that people they're not going to do it. Just think about it. You know? So that's the point I wanted to make with that one. So hopefully you guys get that part. Okay, so I want to talk about this other conversation here that I think that I want to spend my time on this one. So has anyone seen the movie? Please hit the like button as you're coming in. Leave the World Behind. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this movie is because when you go to black spaces, we don't have this type of conversations. And we're the least prepared when there is a global catastrophe. We're the most disproportionately affected when it comes to situations like that. And I think that this is timely because we just came out of a global pandemic. And I remember prior to the outbreak, at least here in the United States, for us, it was in March that the whole world, I mean, the country shut down. I don't know where it was for you in your own country, but here in the United States, the whole country shut down in March of 2020. Okay? And no one, including myself, would have imagined for a second that we'll get to a place where the whole country shuts down. When I mean shut down, I mean we all experience it. You weren't going to work. You're putting on a mask. Just imagine that type of scenario. Everyone was confined to a home, to their homes. And it went on for over a year. And even longer, depending on where you were. Just think about that. Now, we all experience it, so you don't even think about it because we all experience it. Unless you were born yesterday, you experienced this. Now, prior to that, there were movies that came out talking about these types of things happening. The most notable one was Contagion. You seen that movie? I mean, boy, did we stream that movie 100 times when this was going on. Contagion was a number one stream movie on Netflix in 2020. But I remember when prior to this, like 2015, 2016, all the way up to, you would hear things like you watch movies like this. You were like, oh, it's just movies. I'm one of those people that tend to be skeptical. I'm a skeptic. So if you're going to come at me with something, you have to bring real hard facts. I just don't believe it. I had friends who are doomsday preppers, people who believe that the world will come to an end one day. And they're storing things, and I've come across a lot of friends in the past that will tell you need to start stacking out food and canned beans and all of that. I'm like, yo, dude, okay. Because I'm one of those skeptics. And I've seen lots of movies like that. The end of the world type of thing. And never believed it. And then 2020 happened for us here in the United States, at least March 2020 was when we locked down the country. And you couldn't help but refer back to those movies. And the people that came, for me, the people that came into my life, people that I crossed paths with, those things started to play. Wow, the doomsday preppers, the ones that people call idiots, right? And so this is why I say for us black people, we tend to shun these things and think, oh, this is nothing. And then that happened. So ever since that happened in 2020, it has caused me to not dismiss some messaging that are either put in movies or articles that are read, that are put out there. Or in this case, we're talking about this has also been discussed with the Economic Forum, the Global Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab, who is the chairman for the World Economic Forum, has talked about a coming catastrophe. And so the word, the Great Reset, most of you, I don't know if you've heard it, is a term that's being pushed around now because society is getting to a point where the wealth gap is so far that it's at least here in the United States where we have the middle class system, and the middle class, the middle class is getting squeezed. Poverty is increasing all over the world. So you have people talking about with the implementation of technology, with the implementation of AI, a lot of people are talking about, and it's going to happen. AI is going to displace a lot of jobs. We're going to go through a period of intense stress and suffering that if you don't have the skill set, and we're seeing it now, if you don't have the skill set in certain, you're not going to be able to partake in the job market. AI is going to displace a lot of jobs that many were able to do. We're seeing that now. No one is exempt from this. At first, they talked about it was blue collar workers that would be displaced. No, they've now since changed that. They're going to be white collar jobs that are going to be displaced. Society is going to get angry. We're seeing society becoming really angry. On top of this, we have people who have evil intent, cyber security threats, people that are hackers, who practice black hats, hacking type of practices, who would like nothing more but to see society fall, to see society destroyed. People of no good moral value. These types of people exist in our world. Now, can you believe that during the pandemic, when the pandemic happened in 2020, that HHS, Department of Health and Human Resources, or Human Services, I should say, HHS in the United States, got hacked. This is on April 15th of 2020, when the whole world was going through what we're going through. People were trying to stay healthy. People are trying to stay safe. People are making sure their loved ones. People are losing loved ones. We're going through all of this. You have some people somewhere using it as an opportunity to hack systems. And so the point I'm making is that we have bad players. And so the question now becomes, is there going to be a cyber attack? And there's people that think that it's going to be worse than what we saw in 2020 with the pandemic. A global cyber attack is going to be worse. And that's what this movie talks about. So the movie Leave the World Behind. Let me give you a quick rundown with the movie. Again, this spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie and you want to go watch it, just log off right now, go watch it. Okay. So the movie was, the key actors in the movie, first of all, the movie was produced by our former U.S. president, Barack Obama, and Michelle Obama. They were part of the production of this movie, which is one of the other things that was the stuff that raised eyeball, is that what is Barack Obama and Michelle Obama trying to tell us? Okay, so that's one, because they were tied to the movie. They wrote scripts for the movie. They were part of the production for this movie. Okay, so that's one. And then the major actors for the movie were, so you have Julia Roberts, one of my favorite actress. Mahershala Ali, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's a great actor. You have Ethan Hawke. Mahala Harold. She is the if you have, she did such a great job in that TV sitcom or TV series, I should say, with HBO, The Industry. That was a great show. So she was one of the key characters in that. So she did an amazing job. I think that was the first time everyone even knew who she was. And then you have Kevin Bacon. These were the 4 major characters in the movie. So the movie starts off with, Julia Roberts, and she's married to Ethan Hawke. And it starts off with, they're planning a vacation. So they go to a vacation, kind of like what we do nowadays. They rent an Airbnb. So they rent an Airbnb from who the home is owned by Mahershala Ali. He played a character of a rich person. So I think he played a money manager type of person. So he was very wealthy. And so they rented one of his properties. And then later on in the movie, he shows up with his daughter, played by Mahala Harold, in the middle of the night. But before this, awkward things were happening. Things like, the oil tank ship, coming up to shore, planes falling out of the sky, cell phones not working, that type of thing. But it didn't seem abnormal, right? I mean, if your cell phone stops working today, would you think it's abnormal? If you're not getting signal, you might not. You might think it's just okay, whatever. But then when everyone else is complaining about it, maybe you might see it as something more than what it is. So that didn't spook anybody. So they show up in the middle of the night, knock on doors, and then they were introduced to the family that rented their house, and they found out, okay, who they are, and there's all this skepticism going on. And he's explaining to them why he had to show up because he couldn't, whatever. And they begin to find out a series of things that are happening. It was very it's a very spooky kind of movie. It reminds me of M. Night Shyamalan. I think that's how you pronounce it. Dyer. Very eerie. The sound in the movie is very eerie. One of those. So if you've seen any one of those M. Night Shyamalan movie, that's exactly what that looks like. It's Stephen King kind of movie. That's kind of how they created that. But anyway, so they go through this whole thing when things are just happening. Bizarre things are happening, noises, loud noise in the movie. And then they find out that later on, Mahershala Ali goes out to his neighbors to go find out what's going on. And he sees all these dead bodies all over the place. He sees a plane falling off the sky, that kind of thing. So he realizes that this is different. And he knows this is different because he's like a money manager. So he works with very wealthy people. And wealthy people tend to talk about things like this that might happen. So, they tend to talk about, I have a bunker. They won't tell you they have a bunker. but we know that wealthy people have bunkers. We've seen storyline of wealthy folks building bunker. The most recent one that's been making rounds is Mark Zuckerberg building $100 million bunker in Hawaii, right? But he's not the only one. And you have PayPal founder, Peter Thiel. You have Jack Dorsey, former Twitter founder. You have Bill Gates. You have all these billionaires who supposedly have bunkers in Switzerland. That's where they all have it, apparently. So he manages those type of clients. So it starts to dawn on him that this could perhaps be something that his clients have told him about. Right? So he's starting to see this more than what it is. The rest of the other ones don't know what's going on. They're saying that what's happening here. Cell phones not working. We're seeing dead bodies on, planes, and they don't know. It's just like you might have people that just don't know what's going on. What's happening here? Radio not working. TV's not working. There's transmission going on TV saying stay at home. That type of thing. So it spooks them. So he makes his way back home. He starts to tell, he and Julia Roberts are in the kitchen table, and they're having discussions about this. And he's telling her that I think this is more than what this is way more than what he thought. And he starts to tell her the story behind, he's met a couple of friends, and one of his particular clients has called him a day or so, or a couple of days ago, prior to this incident happening, telling him, please move all my money. And he's moving large money, and he's asking him, why are you moving such money? Like, don't worry about it, just move most of my money. And he thought that was bizarre. And he says something in the movie that I thought was interesting, because I got a couple of lines in the movie that are very, very disturbing that I'm going to read some of them to you. But he said, this client of his tells him, take care of yourself. This is what he says. And he says that the client almost felt sorry for him, right? And then he makes a joke with the client and said, where are you going? Are you going to go to one of these bunkers you talk about? The guy didn't laugh. That's what he says. He's laughing and making a joke of the whole thing when he's on the phone with his client, but the client didn't laugh. Right? And now this event unfolds. It's a very fascinating movie. You got to go watch it. Now, a couple of lines in the movie that have really made a lot of people upset, or that it's noteworthy, I should say, is the first line in the movie that Julia Roberts says. It says, I fucking hate people. That's what she says. And then she says, leave the world behind. She actually says this at the beginning opening of the movie, leave the world behind. And then there's the other one by Mahala Harold. She says, we are nostalgic for a time that never existed. Okay. And there's another one that says, with Ethan Hawke, says, we're all just trying to survive. Now, I'm going to talk about Ethan Hawke scene later on, because I think that's the part I want to focus on in this conversation. Because he played a role of one of those doomsday preppers, the kind of people that I told you that I've met in my life, and most of us have seen videos and we've seen people that prepare for these types of things because they just believe. These are people they call conspiracy theorists. They believe something bad is going to happen one day, and they're just preparing. You have these types of people, and these are people that I've met in the past that I was just dismissing with a word, like, you'll go away. I'm not dismissing them anymore. Ever since the pandemic happened, shoot, no, right? And not to mention, again, I've told you when you have the chairman of the World Economic Forum come out and tell you that there's something big is going to happen, and he's alluding to this thing. There's not something you take lightly. And there's another line in the movie that has just been offending mostly white people. It's a scene. It was made by Mahala Harold. She says, "Don't trust white people." So there was a scene in the movie where she is, they're in the basement. They're at night, so she's with her father. She plays the daughter of Mahasha Ali. I can never pronounce his name. She plays his daughter. So they're going to bed, and she's in bed with her father, and their mother is not there at this time because, again, people are living their normal lives. So she's away on business trip, and she was supposed to be coming the next day, but she doesn't make it in the movie. But the implication is that she has a mother, and so she's saying things like, "Mom always says this type of thing will happen," right? And she says that mom will not want us to trust white people. And she is digging at her father because her father is trusting of strangers in their house. Again, they're strangers, but they rented the place for the weekend. And it wasn't up until a couple of hours into their stay in the house that Mahasha Ali and his daughter shows up in the middle of the night talking about, we can't get back into the city. Can we stay? That kind of thing. And so she's telling the father, why don't you just give them back their money and send them their way? That type of thing. But the father he's playing he's very calm. He's a rich dude. He deals with white people all the time. He's playing very hospitable host. And so she's digging at him and saying, Mom one of the things Mom would not want us to do is trust white people. And that's a line in the movie that a lot of people have been very upset about, especially white people. Why would Barack Obama and Michelle Obama put that in the movie? You know, I don't know. So that's the part that people who why would they put that in the movie? Okay, is that virtual signaling? I don't know. So she says that. But I think that if, God forbid, the world falls apart, white people are the least of your problem. They're not just going to be white people are going to be the least of your problem, in my opinion. Because I think that if the world falls apart, and I really think that there might be something coming. It's something that has been, and I hope, God forbid, I hope not. Because if we go through a cyber, God forbid, blackout, where the internet is shut off, which is what the movie was talking about. The internet is shut off. There's no phone signal. The satellites in space can't transmit. We're totally cut off from the world. It's not a good thing. Yeah, everything is connected to the internet. Everything, even our electrical grid, is connected to the internet. Our whole life is connected to this. So if there's a blackout globally and there's a cyber attack, what are you going to do? Are you prepared for this type of thing? You get what I mean? Are you prepared? Because apparently it's going to be global. It's not just going to be here in the United States, just like we experienced a pandemic. Whatever that is, God forbid. Are you prepared? What ways are you preparing yourself to make sure that you and your loved ones are safe? You know, some people are buying bunkers, right? That's one way. I don't know if that's going to help you. I don't know. Because the idea of buying bunkers to me sounds naive, if you ask me. And here's why I say it. Let's say, for example, the whole world falls apart. Let's just say, God forbid this happens. The whole world falls apart. And you live in your bunker or whatever. You escape whatever anarchy or destruction that happens with humanity, that the ones that didn't get a bunker. All right, let's just assume this. Let's just assume this type of thing happened. You know, because that's essentially what happened. People that are left, there's going to be all this terrorism going on. There's going to be crazy stuff, right? People are trying to survive. There's misinformation. People don't know what's going on. Medicine, there's a shortage of medicine. The hospital is overwhelmed. Food, all of that. Just follow me for a second. So let's just have assumed all this world, this whole thing happens. And then the guys in the bunker, when they come back out, when everyone has killed themselves, how are they sure that the ones in the bunker with them, how are they able to, can you vet and be certain that ones that went in the bunker with you are moral, decent people? They're all going to, that you're not going to have the same thing happen for with those ones who are now living in the bunkers and have to restart civilization, right? When you talk about government has fallen. If that's the case, there's no monetary system, all of that stuff. So how are you sure that the person that's in the bunker with you or the people that are all in the bunker, when they come back, you're not going to have anarchy? So that's a bad situation. But I do think that you want to get yourself prepared. I think you want to have yourself ready to protect your family. For those of you that have families, you know, a husband, a wife, children, and even if you don't have that and you're not married yet, and you still have a family, you're connected to something, you still want to protect yourself and your loved ones. I think it's imperative that you want to get yourself prepared, just in case. I don't know. How do you do it? Because it's apparently going to be something that everyone is going to experience, just like we experienced the global pandemic, and everyone went through it. So there's going to be the purge all over. It was in the movie Purge, you know. That's not a good. I mean, I'm trying to make light of the situation, but it's not going to be. It's not. It's going to be bad. If you have to live in a world where there's no government, how are you going to call the cops? Your cell phone don't work. How are you going to call the cops? How are you going to call any law enforcement? If God forbid that happens, you're living your life, wake up one morning, and God forbid, the same way we all woke up and we were hit with a plague that killed a lot of people and changed our lives forever. How are you going to call the cops? And you're going to find ill-intent people use this as an opportunity to take out their anger on society, on the rest of humanity. People who have been angry about something, whatever it is they're angry about. You know, you can name whatever. Whatever they've been angry about, they've been suppressing it because they couldn't act it out because we have laws that govern us. And you have consequences of that. When that is taken away, how are you going to... So these are the things you got to worry about. I can tell you, for me and my family, ever since the pandemic happened, and I've been getting ready just in case, because I wasn't going to take it lightly anymore, the way I've just dismissed the situation with the pandemic. That was an eye-opener for me. So when I saw this movie, I was like, hey, I am not taking this one, especially when you have ex-president of the United States produce a movie like this. Now, I'm not taking it seriously because they have their names on it. That's not the point. The point is that we went through a global pandemic and there were movies done behind it prior to this. And I live in a real world where I have a brain and I have a mind and I can ascertain the possibility, God forbid, of such things happening in our society. How are you going to? So my thing is, you're going to have to just prepare yourself. You know, if you live in whatever country you live in, like I live in Texas. And the great thing about Texas is that Texas is a stand your ground laws state. You know, we can own guns here, and I own a few for protection. I'm not going to tell you the type of ones I own, but I own. I've been going to shooting range, practicing. You got to be able to physically defend yourself. I'm a black belt, so that part is, you know, I've been a black belt for a long time. But as a man, you're gonna be able to take care of your family, because you're just not gonna leave it to chance. Because we live in a society where people are hateful. You gotta prepare yourself wherever you are to keep you and your family safe. Because it's not going to be a good situation. I don't see, that's not going to be good. If that happens, God forbid that happens. God forbid that we ever experience this type of fall in society. But I would say don't ignore the signs. There's nothing wrong with being prepared. So Ethan Hawke, I was going to talk about him. His role in the movie was that guy that was prepared. And so there was a scene in the movie where the kid, the son of Ethan Hawke, I should say, Kevin Bacon is who I want to talk about. So Kevin Bacon in the movie was that guy, that doomsday prepper, the one that was prepared for something like this in case, you know, one of those people. So he was fully ready. Fully ready. So they had a scene in the movie where Ethan Hawke's son had his teeth falling out because he got bit by a bug. And I don't know if that causes your teeth to fall out. I don't know. But he loses a couple of his teeth. And so they needed medication. They needed medicine. Of course, there's no way around because the roads are all shut down. There's chaos out there. They can't get to the hospital. See, that's the reality of what that could look like. They can't get to the hospital. You can't call the doctor. You can't call 911. Phones ain't working. Can't get on the internet. It's basically ground zero, if you will. And so Mahasha, man, how do you pronounce this name? such a great actor. How you pronounce his name, man? Mahershala Ali. Man, I'm gonna get that right before the end of the show. He remembers that his contractor, who's played by Kevin Bacon, is someone that he's overheard over the years talk about these types of scenarios. So again, we all know those doomsday preppers. We know people that we all know either personally or you watch YouTube channels or you've seen, those type of situation people. So he remembers that he's always said things like this. And so he sees him as someone that might be prepared to have certain resources at his home. Maybe he has medication. Maybe he has some things at his disposal. Maybe. So they drive to his house to help see if he has medication, to help the kid. So that's another thing with that situation. If you're seen as a person that has all the answers, not only if that's a good thing for you, because people are going to drive to your house, wanting your stuff. So he goes, but naturally, he tells him, you need to back off. Because at this point, society is fallen. How is he supposed to trust the guy that he's always known all his life? Right? So he comes out with his gun, Kevin Bacon now. And so you need to step off. Mahershala Ali, he's shocked at this. He's like, come on. We know each other. It's like, no. What do you want? That type of scenario. You need to go away. Says the boy needs help, needs medication. It's like, I don't got nothing for you. That's what Kevin Bacon says. I don't have nothing for you. What I have is for me and mine. And so when you see that whole thing play out, you can't blame Kevin Bacon. Now, I know people are going to be like, that's messed up. You can't have the kid. Yo, I don't know, man. Because he doesn't know the intent. He doesn't know what they're there for. He's got a family to protect. So you're going to find this type of scenarios play out. People are not going to be trusting of each other. You don't know who to trust. How do you know? You don't. But they just know that they need medicine and he might have some. So they go, there's this whole back and forth thing going back and forth. So eventually he gives them medicine and tells them to go away. Right? And they go back to the car and there's a scene in the car that's very telling where Mahershala Ali talks to Ethan Hawke and tells him about when he was working with on a defense contractor for a branch of the military. And he came across some documents that talked about 3 strategies used to destabilize the country. And he goes into each stages of it. And he said that is the most effective way of destabilizing the country. He runs into this information while he was working as a contractor for a branch of the U.S. government. And he runs into this information. And it's basically, the first one is create a confusion, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. You got to watch it. Creates a confusion. And the second would be humanity and people are going to be distrustful of each other. That will be the second stage. So you create a confusion, create some kind of, which in this case would have been the cell phone, losing cell phone signal, planes falling off the sky, the cyber attack type of thing. And then human beings are going to distrust each other. And then the third one is, he says that's the worst part, is a civil war will happen because human beings are going to take out each other, which is that whole, movies like The Purge and all the stuff I just talked about. And it says that they found that was the most effective way. Now, again, this is stuff in the movie, man. I don't know. I'm just giving you the movie. But you got to go watch the movie. And more importantly, you got to prepare for these types of scenario. God forbid, we hope not to see it. But if I were you, I would rather be prepared than not be prepared. Because I've got a family, you got a family, everyone's got a family. And humanity, as much as I'm trusting of humanity, which is opposite of what the character played by Julia Roberts in the movie, which says, I hate people. I'm trusting of humanity. As much as I am trusting of humanity, we don't have good characters and good actors out here. There are people that would bask in that type of situation, that are looking for that kind of things to happen, so they can take their anger out of society. That's why you want to be prepared against that type of person. I know this is a very eerie type of conversation, but is it necessary? One, because it's not too many of the time we have this type of conversation. These, when you talk about preppers, every time you look, it's always white folks. White folks are preparing for something. Maybe that's why they put that line in there. Don't trust white people. I don't know. They're always preparing for something. Black folks, no, we don't. We like, no way, it's not true. We dismiss these types of things. We dismiss it and say this is nonsense. This is not good, This is not going to happen, and we dismiss it. And when catastrophes like this happen, of course, when we've seen the one in 2020 was the worst I think humanity's faced in a long time, global. But we've had series of things that happen in our society, like flooding, that happened that displaced a lot of things, or there was a market correction, where there's either the stock market correction where people lose money, or there was a recession that happened. These types of things. People that tend to be worse off are black people. When the 2008 thing happened, black people were the worst off because black people don't tend to prepare themselves for anything. We always live for the moment. Oh, don't worry about it. We live for now. We don't plan for the future because we tell ourselves it's not going to happen. And then you have the rest of society, they're preparing for these types of things. And so they're much able to weather the storm. They're able to weather the whatever comes with that better than we, because we are telling ourselves we're not going to happen. Black people are the only ones that don't have a protection. They don't even insure their own health. Life insurance. Black people are the only ones that don't have this. Not all black people, but most black people don't have this because they tell themselves they're not going to die. And then when they finally die, the responsibility of that cost of your death is now a plague on those that you leave behind, furthering pushing them into poverty. Because how are they going to pay for your funeral? Because we tell ourselves, no, don't worry about it. I'm not going to die, man. I'm good. Yeah, sure. You'll live forever. You'll be the first. So black folks are the only ones that don't even plan for that type of scenario. And these types of things are known to wipe out a lot of generations. When there's a death in a family because someone didn't do the right thing, so it falls back on kids, loved ones, and they don't have the money and they have to go borrow money, putting themselves in much debt. Black people are the ones that do this. And so this is more like a video where you just want to prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Whatever that looks like for you, go do it. Make sure that you're at least able to keep you and your family safe. Because I will tell you, it's not good. It's the scenario would, I don't think it will be a good one. If God forbid that happens. I mean, just think about if you're a society, if you are a single person, if you're a single woman, attractive at that, what do? Go stay with a man. Go find an uncle. You know what I mean? Go find an uncle, a brother, not an ex-boyfriend. I won't suggest. Go find a family member. Go stay in the house. Because I think when these things happen, from what I've read, usually we'll have 24 to 72 hours before the, God forbid. Again, this is just painting, God forbid, scenario. We pray these things never happen. But from what I've read about these types of things, it's a 24 to 72 hour window you have, which is how these people that have bunkers hope to be able to get to their bunker. That's what people that have analyzed these things, if God forbid these things happen, that's your time. That's your time frame right there that you're working with before, God forbid, society really falls off. So you want to really you want to go stay with loved ones. If you're a single person, male or female, go stay with people you trust, more in number. Don't trust your neighbors. I won't trust my neighbors. Don't trust your neighbors. People that you invite over your house Every other weekend, you think that I wouldn't trust it. Because people tend to think differently about people when they're not in their space with them. You never know what your neighbors are thinking about you. Yeah, you might be Mr. Popular, the kind of guy that throws at a party and has all the neighbors over. You don't know what those will think about you when they go to their houses. I wouldn't trust those people. You trust your immediate family members, whoever they are. Stay prepared. Don't tell people what you're doing. Don't tell people how you're staying prepared, but just find a way to stay prepared, man. Because you never know. And you want to be able to take care of you and yours. And if you're not the type that know how to fight, you might want to go take classes. You might want to take classes. You get what I'm saying? Learn how to defend yourself physically. Learn something. Because, again, hope never gets to that situation. But if you are face to face with an intruder, you're going to have to, it's either him or her. You or her, or you or him. Okay. That kind of situation. But anyway, I just thought I would share my thought on this one, and get my people thinking out here. But more importantly, enjoy your life, right? This is their Christmas Eve. What a day to have a conversation like this, right? But enjoy your life. I don't think it's a time for you to be distrusting of anyone around you. It's not. That's not. Hopefully, you didn't get that from this video. It's not a time for you to be distrusting of your culture, your society, or whatever. It's not, because you got to live out here. You got to exist. You got to keep going. It's not a time for you to do all that. It's a time for you to truly prepare and fortify yourself as best as you can. And then begin planning tactical strategies in event, God forbid, of anything. You want to do that anyway, especially if you want a home or if you have an apartment. You want to do that if you have a family. You want to have those types of scenarios in place just in case. But live your life, enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, enjoy your loved ones, enjoy your kids, enjoy your families, enjoy your friends, enjoy your neighbor. Enjoy your life, right? And hopefully we pray that this type of thing doesn't happen. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. We'll have one, I don't know if we're going to be able to, I think we'll have one more live show before the end of the year. I think next Sunday is New Year's Eve. I think we'll see each other next Sunday before the new year. But before I leave you, make sure that you enjoy your families today, tomorrow, and this whole week. Think about what it is that you want to do for the new year. Think about how you're starting off. Think about those mistakes you made this year. Think about those things that you could have done differently. Think about all the losses that came to you this year. And think about how you were able to overcome that. The Creator, God, got you through it. Got you through all of that. Think about all the great people that came into your life. Think about all the people that that you got away from. And hopefully that's a good thing. I know there are people I got away from, and I'm glad I got away from them. Not to be seen again. Think about your blessings, no matter how little they were this year. Think about the little things that happened in your life. If you got married this year, congratulations. Think about the people that love you, people you love, your children. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, your new job, your new career. Think about all the blessings that came in your life. Be grateful for it. Be thankful for it. Don't take for granted the little beginnings or the little things that came into your life. Don't take for granted your loved ones. If you have kids, make sure you're hugging and you're loving on your kids. If you have family members, love on them. If you have a wife, love on her. If you have a husband, love on him. Be grateful for your little beginnings. Go into the new year, 2024, with a new, fresh thinking. Leave the old things behind. Do something different this coming year. Whatever you've done this 2023, if it didn't work out, don't worry about it. You've got another year. You got 2024 to make it work. To prove your naysayers wrong. You've got a new year to get it right. Whatever mistakes you've made, they're just mistakes. Live or learn from it and move on from it. Don't dwell on your mistakes. Don't harp on those. Learn from it and move on from it. Start something new in 2024. Start something different. Do something different from what you've normally done. Because you may very well find that different thing could be the breakthrough you're looking for, or could expose you to a new world that you will never have thought about. Find something different to do. It doesn't matter how small or how big it is. Find something. Make new friends. Step out of your comfort zone. Meet new people. Meet new cultures. Find somebody else that's not from your culture. Make friends with them. That type of situation. And hopefully, all that is enough to keep you satisfied and keep your soul. Above all things, make sure your soul is right. Make sure your soul is right. Don't do something that you're going to be embarrassed, that's going to cost you your soul, that's going to cost you your peace, that's going to cost you your freedom. Make sure that you're calculated in whatever you do. And I hope in all things that you're well this holiday. And I'll see you next week, New Year's Eve. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Pretty baby. Oh, all right, listen. I've been waiting for so long, girl, yeah, to be with you alone, girl, yeah. Move your back against the wall, girl. Don't be afraid, won't let you fall, girl. No, no.